You know, from time to time, some things really make me mad. Okay, it doesn't happen that often, but from time to time, I get really mad about certain things. I call them my soapbox moments, and it's things that I'm incredibly passionate about. And at the moment, there are a few things in the coaching industry that I'm very, very passionate about. And the reason that I'm passionate about them is because I've spent 11 years trying to figure out how to make a living from making a difference using my coaching skills. And you know what? There are three pieces of the puzzle that I think are fundamental to making a success of your coaching business that just aren't being taught. It's taken me all of this time to figure it out for myself, and I just don't see people teaching it. I don't see people telling the truth to coaches who are starting out or who are not where they want to be with their coaching practice, or can't see that path of, you know, I've got a route that's going to work for me. So that's what I'm really passionate about, and that's what I want to share in this video. And I'm really excited about sharing it because it's kind of fun to give this stuff away. You know, it took me a long time to figure it out. I don't want that for you. I really don't. And the reason that is because the coaching industry is continuing to boom. I mean, it's not getting smaller, it is getting bigger, and we do need more and more coaches because coaching is becoming more and more accepted as a real opportunity, a real alternative, and a real option for people to get what they want out of their life. So we need coaches to fill that need. And so there is enough for everyone, but there are a few pieces, as I say, that are just not being shared. You know, I remember for years lying in my bed waiting for the alarm to go off so that I could go to commute for an hour, go and do my corporate job, commute back for an hour, and then try and figure out how I was going to make this business work, because I didn't want to be doing that. I wanted to be at home so that my kids they knew that I was home, they knew that I was there for them, particularly as they were getting older. But I would lie in bed going, there's something that I am missing. There is something that I'm not doing right, because I was following the rules. You know, I knew that I was smart enough. I knew that I was hardworking enough. God knows I was hardworking enough. And I knew that the reasons that I wanted this so badly were pure enough. It wasn't about, you know, making millions of dollars so that I could sit on a beach. It was about creating time and doing worthwhile work. Okay? And I'm guessing that you might feel the same way too. You know, maybe you want to do something that is just a bit more worthwhile, that you feel like you're making an impact, that you're making a difference, or that you've had a change in circumstances and you want to change the way that you work. And it is possible, but there are a few things that you're not being told. So I guess there are some reasons that you might think that it's not working out for you. Okay, you might think that it's because of the competition. You might think that there are too many coaches in your area or niche and there's too much competition. You might think that it's because you don't have a massive social media following or a huge list. You might think that it's because your niche is too specific, that there aren't enough people in your niche to make it pay. Or you might think it's because of where you are geographically located in the world. Trust me, I have heard all of those excuses, because that's what they are, and more. And none of them are true. But what is true is that You are smart enough. You are hardworking enough. And your reasons are pure enough. You just don't have all the information yet. Okay. So, before I get into what I want to share, there's 3 things that I want to share with you that really changed everything for me. But before I do that, I just want to talk a little bit about advice versus opinion, because it's really important. So advice is information from someone who has done that thing that you seek to achieve. Okay, so they've probably stumbled a few times and then they've been successful in whatever it is that you are trying to do. Okay, opinion is somebody's idea of something. It's, everybody's got an opinion about things. Okay, it doesn't mean that they've walked in your shoes. It doesn't mean that they understand your position and your vision. Okay. So there is a difference between advice and opinion, and there is a ton of advice and opinion being peddled online, and it's very difficult to tell the difference between the two. Okay, so I would caution you to qualify whether or not what you're hearing is advice or whether it's opinion. Okay. Even Peter Sage, who's a renowned business mentor and coach, he actually goes a little bit further and says that, business coaches and mentors are not qualified to give advice unless they have experienced failure before their success. So, so just be aware of that and be cautious about where you're getting your information from. It's important when there is so much noise happening online. Okay. So with that, I want to share some advice with you. This is all, it's all stuff that I have worked out myself, because the advice and programs and various other things, courses, programs, coaches, all of those things that I have invested in over the years just haven't worked for me. A lot of it hasn't landed for me quite right. So I can follow the steps, do it exactly, and not get the results that I was hoping for. Okay. So first up, the truth of how I make my money. Okay. And the truth is that over half of my income does not come from directly coaching others. Okay? Over half of my income does not come from coaching others. However, that income does come from the skills that I have as a coach. Okay? So there's a difference. There's a difference. I'm still using my skills, the training that I've done, the certifications that I've completed, all of that work is still being very much used to help me generate half of my income, but it's not direct one-to-one coaching. Now this is important because although there is no legal requirement for you or anyone else to have a coaching certification in order to set up and shop and say, I'm selling my coaching skills. You don't need to have a certification. There is no regulation in the industry yet. And although we say that it's coming, I've been hearing that it's coming for 11 years and it still isn't in place. So there is no legal requirement. However, the skills that you will learn from completing accredited certification training are going to go far beyond you working one-to-one with clients or even in small groups. Okay? So for a long time, I was selling coaching sessions. I still coach. I'm still coaching one-to-one with clients and still working with small groups. I was selling coaching services. I was selling communication skills workshops. So for a long time I was doing that, but I can tell you that I have made more money applying those skills to other opportunities in my business than I had in the first few years of selling those workshops and selling those sessions. Okay? So get training. It's not just going to make you a better coach, it's going to make you a better negotiator, it's going to make you a better pitcher. So when you're pitching for media placements, when you're pitching for articles, when you're pitching for opportunities, when you're asking for what you want, it's going to make it easier. Okay? So when you think about investing in your skills, it's not just about investing in the product that you're ultimately going to be selling, which is your one-to-one coaching. It's about investing in yourself so that you can become a better business person and create opportunities that can amplify your business beyond your belief. Okay? So get training. There are layers to why to get the training, and get the training because it goes far beyond just being able to work with the client that's in front of you. Okay, so that's number one. And the other reason for that is that smart coaches are realizing that they're not just selling their coaching services, they're selling their IP. Okay, so they're actually negotiating and selling their IP to other people. And that's where huge amount of money is being made. Okay? Get training is the message. Okay, so next up is strategy, or the business models for coaching. And the model that we see everywhere, and I talk to coaches every single week about how they're so exhausted by this launch model, this launch frenzy where you seem to have so many people all selling the same thing to you in your inbox. This massive launch model. It's being, okay, it works. It does work, but it works for a certain type of person at a certain point, okay? And most people that I talk to don't want to do it. And it's not very kind to push people into that scarcity, high pressure sale. So if you're not that kind of person and it doesn't float your boat to do that kind of model, then it's not going to work as well as you want it to. Okay? I've tried it, it doesn't work for me. I've tried different variations of it, and it's evolving. And you're in an evolution. So this idea of, you need to have hundreds of thousands of people on your list. You need to have a ton of affiliates who also have huge mailing lists that can sell on your behalf. It works, but it works for a certain person at a certain point in their business. Okay? There are other ways to make money from your coaching business. The metaphor that I often use when I'm talking about this is when we're in an airplane and we're told to put our mask on first before we help others. That's what I want you to think about in your coaching business. I want you to think about how can you put your mask on first? Because and this is for selfish reasons, to be honest, because I am sick of having conversations with amazing coaches and change makers who are burnt out and bankrupt because they have followed this model. They have given away their expertise for free. They have invested a ton of time and money into opt-ins and marketing strategy and building websites and building landing pages and hiring people to do branding and all of this stuff when they haven't had their first client or they're not making enough money to make a sustainable business. Because see, when you come to me and you're burnt out and you're bankrupt, I can't help you. I can help you before that happens. Okay? So there are other models. There are other ways to make a difference there in people's lives. You don't have to be trying to catch everybody so that you can push them through a funnel. When you have so many clients that you can't service anymore, that is a good time to start thinking about leveraging your expertise and leveraging it into group programs and, you know, free offers and low priced offers. That's a good time to do it. If you haven't had lots of clients, then you've still got space to work with people, and it's easier to sell to one person than it is to sell to 1,000. It just is. Okay, so have a think about where you are currently. What assets do you have? If you've got a huge audience and a huge following, then go for your life. But if you don't, then there are other ways. If you don't subscribe to that model, there are other ways. Personally, when I started out, I had no desire to build a massive community, but I did it anyway, or I tried to, and I failed because I did everything right. I piled a year's worth of my time and effort and energy and expertise into creating this program, and I built the mailing list, and I sent the invitation to it was a tele-seminar then, we didn't even have webinars then, and I pushed all of that effort into something. But because I didn't understand myself and I didn't fully understand the way that there is another way, it failed. And I had poured so much time, so much money, and so much effort into it. And it's a common story. So the model that did work for a long time, the information model that worked for a long time, is not working in the same way that it used to. You know, our consumers are becoming much more savvy about what they do online and giving up their email address. They're much more acclimatized to the launch model. So it's getting harder. But there are other ways. So think about your assets. Do you have a large following? Then use it for sure. If you don't, then go back to basics and start building your network and asking for referrals and working with clients one-on-one and asking them to refer to you. It is as simple as that, even online. I have a global referral network. It's not huge, but I have people all over the world that I've worked with and I continue to work with who refer other people to me, and that works. Okay? And that, coupled with the other opportunities that I have created using my coaching skills, makes for a sustainable business. So think about your strategy and your business model. Okay. The next thing is, to my mind, the most important thing. And it leads on quite nicely from shifting that perspective of what is the right business model or strategy for you. And that is your own mindset. Okay? It's a mindset shift to move away from I'll just create a low-priced product because then I don't need to deal with my issues with self-worth. So I can just sell a low-priced product to lots and lots of people, and then that's okay because that's cool. I can make a good living from it, and I don't need to deal with the fact that I have to put a value on what I can offer. That's a big mindset shift. But once you get past it, things are actually pretty easy. And I also will say to you this, that pricing is a positioning tool. Pricing has less to do with value than you might think. I wasn't actually going to go down this route in this video, but let's do it anyway. So pricing is a positioning tool. When you're selling coaching and you're selling transformation, you get to put your own price on your transformation and your services. And it's based more on who you want to work with than it is the number of hours that you're going to give them, or how many workbooks they're going to get, or the level of note taking that you're going to do, okay? So pricing is a positioning tool. It's about finding the right price point that will attract the clients that you want to work with most. Okay? So just unhook your value, your self-worth from your price point, and think about it from the perspective of, who is it that I want to work with? How much do they need to pay in order to get the transformation? Okay, let me say that again. How much do they need to pay in order to get the transformation? Quick story. In 2015, I was doing some research for an article that I was writing for Inspired Coach magazine. And the question that I wanted to answer was, what is the difference between a coach who's struggling to sell $50 an hour sessions and those coaches that are selling $100,000 mastermind programs? What's the difference between them? And it wasn't their skills. It was the fact that the person who was selling people into a $100,000 a year mastermind knew exactly who they were targeting, and they didn't work with anybody else. And they knew that that person needed to spend that amount of money to be motivated to get the results. And so their reputation built very, very quickly. So your reputation comes from working with the best clients for you, and then them referring more to you. So have a think about that. Hopefully some of this stuff is starting to, get you questioning what you've been told so far. And if it is, then great, because that's what I want from this video. Okay, back to mindset. Unfortunately, you can't escape you. I've tried. I really have tried to escape me, not you. You can't escape you. You are the solution, but you're also the problem. You are the secret sauce, but you're also the obstacle that is going to get in the way. So until you realize that, and until you understand how that shows up for you, then you're going to find yourself in patterns of procrastination. Or if you are working so hard and you are as smart as I think you are, perfectionism. I'm not going to do it until it's perfect. I'm not going to do it till it's right. I'm not going to shoot that video until I've been to the hairdressers and I've had my nails done. Okay? Until you understand you are going to get in your own way. I was going to say you're likely to, but I'm going to back myself and say you are going to get in your own way. Okay? Here's the thing. I know that you want to make a living from making a difference for whatever your reason is. My reason was having more time with my kids. I know that you want to do more meaningful work. Maybe you are being stuck in a profession that just doesn't light your soul anymore. But when you start from a place of not thinking big enough, then you start to diminish yourself. So let me tell you what I mean by that. You start this elegant process of just chipping away at your big dream, okay? You start, it's not what you expect. Things are not happening the way that you thought they would. So you start using words like just. If I just had a few clients, then I'd be making enough to contribute to the household, and that would be okay. That would be enough. Or if I just had a little bit more income, then I could pull back in other areas because I'd be doing something that I loved. Or if I just had 4 clients a month. Okay, so you're diminishing yourself, and that's where it starts. And this really is something that gets me quite emotional and quite passionate. We fall into this trap of not wanting to charge for our expertise, our experience, our training, because we are getting so much from the work that we're doing. But not charging is not going to change the world. So remember when I said about putting your own mask on first? If you really want to make a difference, a big difference, if you want to serve at your highest level, then I need you to think bigger. I need you to stop diminishing yourself. And it's not about wanting $1 million business and sitting on the beach sipping cocktails. If that's what you want to do, then great. It's not about that. It's about serving at your highest level. It's about not diminishing yourself. Because you know what? We need you. We need you to be making a difference in other people's lives. And diminishing yourself and settling is not going to do that in the way that we need you to show up. So don't settle. Be brave. Step into your power so that you can make a living from making a difference, serving at your highest level. Okay? Now that might scare you, or it might excite you, but hopefully it's going to galvanize you into exploring this a bit further. So I've got a couple of questions that I want to ask you. What is the biggest way that you can serve? And what is the smartest way of doing that without sacrificing your non-negotiables? So what are the ways that you can do that? Those questions should lead you to thinking differently about the possibilities. Okay? And if they do, then my work here is done. Okay? Do not settle. You are here to change people's lives. And I can help you if you want me to, okay? If you are ready for more, then I've created another set of videos because I knew that I just couldn't cover everything off in this one. So if you're ready to learn more, then you can join me in Coaching Cornerstones, where I've shot another video that goes into depth into each of these areas. Your skills, how to develop the skills that you need. More on the different models that are available to you and how to identify the right one for you and how to identify the right client for you in a way that no one else is telling you. And also how to identify your patterns of getting in your own way and how to get out of them. So if you're ready for that, then I would love for you to join me in Coaching Cornerstones by signing up today. You'll get instant access and I will see you there.